Sup guys, today we'll be making custom blocks like these ones right here from our last video. I never thought this would turn out to be a series, but here we are. This episode is all about breaking Scratch's limits. So let's say you want to move the sprite all the way over here, but you can't because Scratch limits only allows you to move it left so far. Also the size limits, you can't just infinitely size it to You can only size it up so far and size it down so far. Like 1 can only go to 4. So the first step in this process, go to costumes like this and create a new sprite. I'll name it size fixer and then put in brackets 100 and then 108,000. Just like this. Grab your paintbrush, size down to 1 pixel, like just like this. Zoom in all the way here, put a dot in, select it, zoom in until you can't, or zoom in, just keep zooming in, and then drag it to the middle. Duplicate this, and instead of 100 and 108,000, name it bracket 100. Now instead, delete this dot in the middle, drag this whole canvas right over. Now once you've done this, convert it to bitmap and then convert it back to vector. Now select it, and while holding the alt key, drag it and size it up until you can't anymore. Also make sure that this number right here is equal to 720 times 540. Just like this, and boom, you're done with the second costume. Now for the third costume, move fixer and delete this. Now select the square, and while holding the shift key, just make a square, just like this. Now like this, select the line tool, and while holding the shift key once again, drag it and then snap it to the middle. Now here's where things get a little tricky. So what you want to do right now is save it to your computer. And then you're going to want to go to turbowarp.org/editor. I might put the link in the description to save you guys the hassle. Now once you're here, go to file and hit load from your computer and load that project file. Now that you've loaded it in TurboWarp, go to costumes, and here's where you can begin. Select the whole thing, drag it to the top left, and just drag it all the way until you can't. Then repeat this process. Put it in the very top left and drag it. You can repeat this step as many times as you want. The bigger it is, the better. Oh, it's getting kind of laggy. The reason we're using TurboWarp is because it can handle big objects better. Whereas if you do it with regular Scratch, it'll probably lag out. Lag at Scratch, but I suppose now my whole computer's frying. Even if you use TurboWarp, it's still gonna be pretty laggy. Like look at this. The goal would be 10,000 times 10,000. Alright, as you can see, we've hit 10,149. Just size it down until you hit 10,000 exactly. You can go even further than that, but for this video, we're gonna be using 10,000 as a base number, just like this. When it's 10,000 and 10,000. Then you want to use this line that you made to find it back to the middle. The middle is indicated with a little cross symbol, just like this. Now you want to drag it over to the middle, and you can leave the line if you want. It doesn't matter. Now for the real deal. In this cool website I found, you can copy different square colors. Now this might seem irrelevant at first, but you'll see why. Go ahead and copy an orange square or whatever square you prefer, like this one. I'll leave the link in the description, don't worry. Now you want to edit each of your custom blocks and put that square before each of them. Well, not all of them. Actually, my mistake. You only want to put the square before each of the temporary variable blocks. Now you want to go ahead and pick a different square for size related things. Okay. Now you want to go ahead and pick a different square for sizing. And when you make a block, paste it and then type out set size to size %, and then in brackets put 1,108,000, just like this. Run without screen refresh. Now these numbers on the side, how much you can size up your object or size down your object, tell you the limits of your sizing abilities. Now what you want to go ahead and do is start off with a set temporary variable. Set temporary variable, set size, colon, previous costume, and then costume name. Now you want to drag in an if else, then a less than operator, and in the second box put 100, then drag in size. After this you want to switch costume to 100, else 108,000. Then you want to set size to your desired size, switch costume to blank. Now this blank, you want to use this thing right up here, the get temporary variable, the one we created last episode, and drag it right in here. Then you want to copy this and paste it into here. Now after this, the final step is to delete that temporary variable. Let's test it out. Set size to, let's say 50. Okay, that works. 25. Now remember at the start of the video, we said we tried to size it to 1, but it would just change to 4. Let's set it back to 25%. And now let's size it to 1. Now for the moment of truth. Bam. As you can see, our size is currently at 1. This works because it tricks Scratch into thinking that it's one size when it's actually another. Let's see this in slow motion. First break apart the blocks, just like this. Set it back to 100. And now set temporary, click this, check the values. As you can see, the temporary variable is set to this, which is in exact correlation to the costume name. Now set your target. Remove both the size blocks and set it to your target size. Let's say 500. Now if 500 is less than 100, which it's not, it would size it to this. However, let's remove these. It's going to be executing this. Let's see what it is. It looks invisible, but if you full screen it, you can actually see a dot right there. Now we remove this and set this size to 500. As you can see, there's a bigger dot. That's because the current size of the sprite is 500. Now we switch costume back to this, the one that was previously picked. Indeed, it works. And now the final step, delete that temporary variable, and voila. Now let's get another variation of this. Create a new block. Now grab your little purple square, paste it, change size by size percent 1,108,000. Run that screen refresh. Now you duplicate this whole thing. Now put size and then a plus operator. Drag it in and drag the size in. Put just like this. Now change this set size block right here to change size. Also, one minor addition you might want to add is changing it from set size to change size in all of these. Now you're done too. Now from that emoji website, you want to copy this blue square or any square of your choice and make a block. So paste it in and type in go to x colon x y colon y. Then add a label, but don't type anything in and then run without screen refresh. What you want to do is copy this whole thing, drag it in here, take this out, remove this, and put it in. Now set the size to 108,000. Rename these to go to. After adding go to, you want to duplicate these. Instead of previous costume, put previous size. Then dragging your go to block below the set size block, put in X and put in Y. Then you want to put a set size to block. Drag in this orange thing in. Copy this and paste it here. Then one final step. Put in a move fixer right here. What Scratch does is it tries to prevent costumes from going off the edge, just like this. It prevents it from going further left to make it appear on stage. This is probably done to save memory, but who knows. Anyway, what this does is it creates an enormous costume that it will almost never go off stage with regular inputs. This way we can move almost as far as we want. Forward, backward, left and right. Actually, change size. Change the costume name that was here in here to size. Let's test this out. -1000. Big reveal. Bam, it works. But how far can we go? Set it to -9. This number right here is exactly how far we can go. So copy this number and edit the block. Put a left bracket, that number, comma, that number again, but remove the minus. And there we have it. Complete go-to block. Now one more block that we need to add. Blue square, change X by X and Y by Y. And those two numbers again. So that was like 5 minus 5 4 0 0 0 4 5 or something like that, or 4 1. Then 5 4 0 0 0 4 1. Left right bracket. Run without screen refresh. I was actually wrong. It's 5 5 1 5 1. Now copy this whole thing. Now change X by and change Y by. Change X by X and Y by Y. Remove the go to and put it here. Change X by 540,000. Actually, I misspoke. It's 5.4 million. Look at this. Bam. Now the last thing you have to do is go to File and then save to whatever file name you have. And then you're going to want to go ahead and open the original project on scratch.mit.education and load it from your computer and pick that file. And just like that, we're actually done with the tutorial. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.